I'm really surprised. This movie has a lot of pretty big names in it. Miles Teller, Bryan Cranston, Anna Kendrick, Alison Brie, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, Jorge Garcia. That's just to name a few. How come this movie doesn't work? Oh yeah, because it's very generic. The plot of Get a Job is just what you're thinking. It's about someone that has to get a job. Well, it's pretty much about everyone that has to get a job. Miles Teller's character is out of college. He was temping at a job. He goes in to get a job, and yeah, the company already downsized him before he even started.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Will. Looking good, buddy. We don't have a job for you.
What do you mean?
And so now he has to go get a job. Meanwhile, his father, played by Bryan Cranston, well, he's been fired from his job, and so now he has to get a job. Meanwhile, all of Miles Teller's stoner buddies in this movie, which consist of 3 other characters, 2 of them have gotten a job and they're trying to climb the ladder to be better at their job, while Anna Kendrick's character, who is Miles Teller's girlfriend in this movie, loses her job about 2/3 into the movie, and so now she has to get a job. Everyone has to get a job. That's what this movie's about. This is really an extremely one-dimensional movie. Yeah, this movie has about 6 or 7 stories all rolled up in one, and they're very shockingly similar because they're all the same end goal. But I'm getting ahead of myself. What's the good about this movie? The acting. Everyone at least performs in this movie and tries to make it their best. To be honest, if it wasn't for the actors involved as well as their acting, I wouldn't care about these characters at all, which I don't care about the characters at all. It's one of those movies where I like the acting, I like the actors, don't like the characters they're portraying. And there's probably 1 or 2 moments in the movie where I did genuinely laugh. So there's 2 funny moments and good acting. That's it. Yeah, and it's also a very hammered down message that starts at the beginning and then ends with the message just in case you didn't get the movie. And the inspirational message is kind of lame and generic. Very generic, actually. Now, this movie, like I said, has about 6 or 7 stories within it. And you know how long this movie is? Only 1 hour and 22 minutes. And that's including credits. How well do you think they develop 6 stories when it's barely the runtime of 1 movie? Ultimately, the movie feels like a rough draft. It feels like a list of bullet points rather than an actually developed movie. And I don't mean bullet points in a list of cliched movie moments or a cliched movie making plot points. No, I mean the story literally just feels like bullet points with no explanation between those bullet points. Or enhancement of the bullet points. There's character development, but it's so little and so few that there's really no build. It's basically a movie with character development, but no character build to that development. So the change just comes, just comes. It just does. And it's a story told time and time again of slackers that have to get a job, have to work for this big corporation, only to find there's a more liberal and more freeing job, and then is conflicted on whether they should keep the corporate job because of the money or go to the liberal and more freeing job where he's free to express himself. And being the slacker artist type character, of course, is going to choose the more freeing liberal job. Yeah, the movie's just that shallow. You can predict everything in this movie. Well, maybe not everything, because there's some really ridiculous random humor in this movie. This is one of those movies that isn't really a crude comedy. It has the stoner types, the friends doing stupid stuff. It never felt like it was the extreme crude type of movies that you'd expect from slackers and stoners and buddies of that nature. So when the crazy crudeness just randomly happens, it feels like it just randomly happens. It almost feels completely out of place. Let me give you an example, okay? Because you're not going to believe this. Which is why I'll show you the clip right after. One of Miles Teller's friends in this movie is... I forget the actor's name, but he's the guy who plays Grover in the Percy Jackson movies. Which is... I don't think it's ever going to get a third one, is it? I think that series died off. But anyway, it looks like he gets this job as a stockbroker or whatever. But anyway, in order to get a desk, because he's this clerk right now, in order to get a desk, he has to do something completely humiliating to show that he'll do whatever it takes to get that desk. What does he have to do? He has to drink deer cum. I'm not making that up. I wish I was making that up. He has to drink deer cum in this movie.
2-1, he drinks the deer cum.
Deer cum?
Drink it. Drink the deer cum. 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 Deer cum.
Why? Yeah, there's a few random gross out humor in this movie, and none of the gross out humor works in this film. It just made it just made it stupid to watch. Oh, and because this is a very short film, all the subplots are just sort of just randomly in there and don't feel like they have an ultimate purpose in the movie. Take Anna Kendrick's part in this movie. She doesn't really do anything. The only thing she's there for is to be Miles Teller's love interest and girlfriend. And there's really no development with them. They're just sort of, they have scenes together and then we don't see them for several long minutes. I mean, I think in the whole movie they have like 4 scenes together. That might be a little exaggerating. They might have a little bit more, but not much more than 4. Hell, we don't even get to see what she does. I mean, it's mentioned, but we never see her working at her job. And so when she does get fired 2/3 of the way in the movie, what's the point? They don't even give her any funny moments at her job, because all the other guys, they have funny moments at their job because it's all about them. But we don't even see her workplace. And so the only time she has funny scenes is when she's no longer has a job and she starts playing Halo and whilst very, very stoned.
Yes.
Why are you massaging my girl?
Don't break her concentration!
She's about to get to the Living Legend achievement. This is fucking crazy, man. She's on a killing spree.
Killing frenzy.
Your girlfriend is a fucking prodigy, bro!
Following me.
Light it for her.
Yeah, that's the only comedic thing that Anna Kendrick does in this movie. Or the only thing meant to be comedic. Now all the other people, I still kind of get why they're there. Ultimately, all the other characters do something throughout the film that eventually will add to helping Miles Teller by the end of the film. Just like you know it would. It's almost like it has the formula, it has the right ideas, but things just aren't executed well enough and things aren't developed well enough that it just feels like it's not a complete movie. That's what Get a Job is. It's just an incomplete movie that you might like, you might think but it's pretty meh. It's one of the most meh, one of the most blandest movies I've seen that's just so below average. I wouldn't say it's a horrible movie, but it's so below average for me that I just disliked it, and so I can't give this a 2-star like it probably deserves. Because upon my initial reviewing, I didn't really like much of it. For me, I'm gonna give Get a Job 1 star. So did you see Get a Job? What did you think about it? Go ahead and comment. If not, what is the worst, blandest excuse for a comedy you have ever seen? Like one so generic that you can't find anything of it funny. And if you like this video, please subscribe and check out my other movie reviews of 2015 and 2016. As always, this is Bruce Gifford, and this was Just My Opinion.